Welcome back, FreedoniaCon 26. It's our last event for the day on day 2, Saturday, and the talented Don Higgins, who is art director for not one but basically two lines, both 1879 and Aether Stream, is going to talk to us about character creation or creature creation. Maybe you can explain it better.
Okay, thank you, Andy. What I've done a lot in the past year, or 2 years ago, was a creature design challenge, basically to try and fill new stuff, bring some new things to give to FASA, and it was just mostly an exercise for me, but I've done basically a 365 challenge, one a day, every day for a year. In 2016, it was all about characters, because I needed to get better at drawing the female form and female faces without and just be able to sit down and draw them better. My significant other at the time, I was told that the women I draw are out of my head. They're not pretty, and I need to get better at that. So that's why I started doing that, to exercise and kind of up my game on that kind of thing. In 2024, it was all about creatures. Um, it was expressed that everything I do has too much whimsy in it, and I can't draw creepy and disgusting and just nasty looking creatures. So, okay, let's go on another 365. And there's some stuff that's definitely whimsy. If you look at what I've shared here, yeah, that's whimsical. But that was actually a piece for what's called an Inktober, where I try and work specifically in ink for a month, and it keeps the drawing skills going. I like to work traditionally a lot, but I do digital as well. Now, the creature concepts that I've created for FASA will be in a book coming. Actually, in two books coming. Work that I did for the concept challenge is going to get published and hopefully be back from printing in time for Origins. But if not Origins, hopefully it'll be there for Gen Con. And there is a book that features a lot of my work in it. That's going to be Creatures of the Grove, coming for 1879. Hopefully, both books will be available at both Origins and Gen Con and on the FASA website. The thing that I was going to go over here is creating something from nothing. However, I did wonder if Andy had a brief that she wanted to give me, a specific. I think she was possibly going to get me or give me a challenge, a creature that she would like me to make up. Is that still the case, Andy?
I thought you were doing the one with the three creatures you were putting together.
I can do that. I just didn't know whether we had decided whether. Okay.
But this is a you decided. Your
Okay.
thing. I'm just sitting
All right.
over here being
I'm
good.
just making it available, trying to work with everybody as it is. Okay. So one thing I did want to address before I go into three different animals to make a new creature, which is an exercise that I used to do the concept challenge. Andy's doing stick figures. And I wanted to express that stick figures are important, not just for what she's doing, but it has a bearing in what I do. Now, people may wonder, okay, how does stick figures work into this situation? So let's start with a figure. Just to warm up, I'm going to get myself going here. And there we go. Let's say we've got, start with the egg. All right. That's some being's head. Andy, you start with circles, right? So
as far as children,
start with a circle. And then I try and decide which direction that
as far as children, we start with circles or stick figures.
Yeah. Of course, this is going to be a stick figure.
So yeah, I usually do my stick figure starting with the circle.
Right. Thought that's what you had said. So we've got this stick figure or this circle, which is the head of the stick figure. And there's the center of the face. And let's say I want him to be looking up. So there's the eye line. And then the nose line, the mouth line. And I start thinking about where the neck's going to be. Now, let's say this person's going to have a very heroic pose. And he's holding aloft his sword. So if I know his sword is being held aloft and he's, say, right-handed, the shoulder line, or this sweeping shoulder line, goes there. And all right, and let's say the torso is going to be somewhere around here. I know that the next line, sweeping line, is the waistline, and whatever the shoulder line is, to get the movement right, equal and opposite for that line. Now, he's got to have a heroic stance, and he's holding his sword aloft. So he's got, here we go, a stick that goes up like that. There's the center line. There's where the shoulder is. I want him to have this sweeping line that comes down this way. Then his other leg line, sweeping line, something to hold him steady. This one's going to come down straight like that. So that the other shoulder is here. And that's where I put a foot and another foot. And then his hand is here, and he's got a sword in his hand. Follow me, boys. Here we go. Stick figures. What do you think, Andy?
My stick figures aren't that good.
But stick figures,
an elegant curve to his arms.
Yep.
Leg. That's very elegant looking.
Very sweeping. Those are things that you pick up with more practice. And I think for stick figures, Andy, where you started from and where you're going to end at the end of the year, you're going to see a difference in how you put those lines in.
I don't think I will.
Okay.
I'm actually probably never going to succeed past where I'm at. And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I mean, things are lopsided and everything. It's awful. But I am going to start now taking a piece of paper, like a note card, and doing one half of my stick figure face and the other half to see if that works for them too.
Oh, that evil and good
yeah.
thing? The asymmetrical
to see if it works on stick figures.
I'd be interested to hear the result of that experiment. Okay, so the point of this exercise, let me get rid of this guy. And we're going to get Delete. Bye-bye. Now, 3 animals to create a new creature. Years ago, I was challenged to come up with a 3 animal creature, and what I did is took a grizzly bear, a moose, and a cougar, and I combined them into one animal. I decided to draw it from behind, so that this grizzly bear's rear end was predominant in the piece, and I lengthened the legs, lengthened the snout, put on the antlers, gave it the fur, did everything, but it's a bear and a moose and a cougar, and because the rear end was predominant, I called it a caboose. Ba-dum-bum, ching. Anyway, again, with the whimsy. So, does anybody out there have 3 animals they would like to suggest? Or not?
Well, I mean,
Platypus.
I was going to say Papillon, but that goes really well with platypus. Now we need a third P word.
So, Papillon, which is the small dog.
With very big ears.
With great big ears.
Platypus.
And a platypus. And
Puma?
Pterodactyl. That's with P.
Oh, pterodactyl. That's better.
Pterodactyl. Woo. Okay. Pterodactyl, platypus, papillon. Okay. All right. So let's write this down so I don't forget what I'm talking about.
The real challenge is spelling pterodactyl.
Well,
hey, did you hear the book I read with the world's worst alphabet book? I think I did it around the holidays. Basically it's the world's worst alphabet book. P is for pterodactyl. The entire book's like that. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about silhouettes of a pterodactyl. These are thumbnail sketches, just so I can get some ideas. Second, I think of a pterodactyl, I think of Johnny Quest and that pterodactyl that comes flying in. And
I'm gonna give you a hint. That's showing our age. The youngins don't know who that is.
Well, I am 60 years old, so. So. The wings, and again, this is just quick thumbnail sketches to get a silhouette of what I'm trying to get to. All right. Yeah. Either way, that works. Okay. Now, again, does that make any sense to anybody but me? Okay, and now we've got
obscure.
Maybe a little.
Okay. So
I think the second one's a pterodactyl. I think those are like wings and a beak.
The wings here, this shape. Or if it were grounded, it's not actually in the air.
No, the second one.
Yes, the second one, definitely more pterodactylish because of the flight.
Yeah.
This one, instead of outstretched wings, these are here. Now let's talk about the small. Big thing on this is focus on the ears, snout, body proportions probably aren't right, but thinking canine and big ears. That's more deer than dog. But I am getting in that the ears are what's going to be the predominant thing for that. The platypus, pudgy. And that duckbill. And the furriness. Tail. Okay. All right. All right. Now, what do I want from each of these? I think we definitely want to keep that. I definitely want to keep that. Definitely want to keep that. Keep that. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, let's try and think about this. I'm going to keep this information. I'm going to keep the crown that comes off the pterodactyl, and it's going to have that going for it. I'm not going to open them out, but I am going to keep the wings. I'm going to put stubby things on the end that are the claws of the platypus. And I'm going to give it those ears. Okay. Not quite right. Not quite, not quite. Getting there, getting there, getting there. All right, what next? Try this again. Focus on the head. Crown. A long snout that is more platypus-ish. Okay, and up that, bring that around. There's the center. Okay. Right. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. Okay. This comes around like this. All right.
How do you get proportions? Is it just practice?
As far as how big the ears are going to be to the crown and the rest of the head, is that the proportion that you're looking at?
Yeah, something like that. Any
Trial and error. When you're combining stuff like this, it's really trial and error. I want to be able to show both ears. So where the crown of the pterodactyl lies has to be able to still show that there's an ear on the other side. And I'm also having to consider the fact that this is flying, so those ears are not going to be up as far as they are back because of the wind. So it's really trial and error. And if I make the snout on because it's got to be a platypus snout, it's still got to be a pterodactyl platypus snout. So it's got to be long, but it's still got to be roundish like a platypus. So it's all a matter of why I'm doing these quick little sketches so that I can start mapping it out for proportion. That way, if something's too big, I can bring it down. If it's too small, I can start again and get it to a proper size. But I'm liking where I'm at. I've mapped out some basic information in my head, and now I'm going to go to the next layer. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to start putting what I've figured out in my head on here. And I'm going to put the ears in. And I'm going to figure where the center of my main skull is. Put the other ear in back here, knowing it's going back because of the wind. So I put some lines in here that are going to convey this is going back because of wind. And then I'm going to figure out where the center is for the crown of the pterodactyl. Remembering a rule of mine that when I teach, I tell everybody that I teach, this is all guideline work. And the more big thing to remember about guidelines is they're not written in stone. Just because you drew it once doesn't mean you can't move it. If you know it's wrong, move it. Get it to where it needs to be. This is only the rough drawing. Now, I have decided I'm going to open that mouth. I should never have put that reference in my head. Now all I can hear is the Johnny Quest theme.
I mean, we can start quoting Barbie Girl at you.
Ah,
I don't know that
no,
that will help.
God, no. Okay.
I had a friend who was singing Christmas carols, and it upset somebody else who basically just wanted something to complain about. But I told him that's okay. I have a suggestion. He said, "What?" I said, "Start singing Barbie Girl." Keep in mind that this guy's like 6'2". shaved head,
The whole 9 yards.
the whole, yeah, 50 something years old. He's like, Barbie girl. I'm like, yep, I was right. That creeped him out worse. They shut up about Christmas carols.
What's that?
I can't decide if the head is scary looking or not yet. But I think he
That's
found the
why I'm
evil
thinking-
side.
I think I'm going to go a little bit longer with this snout. Open it up a bit more. Kind of give it some teeth here. Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Come on. Bringing that pudginess, the platypus. Fur back here on its back. There's that platypus beaver tail. The other hand or paw is going to go in here. I'm going to take the whole thing so that I can get it in here. That's better. All right. I want to extend this out. Make this paw bigger and emphasize that as above and this below. Trying to remember pterodactyl physiology enough so that I can create something that has been physiologically advanced or changed or evolved, whichever terminology you want to use, but how it fits this. Yeah, that's better. There. Okay. This is going to come this way. The shoulder is back here. That's going to come out this way. Put the hand or paw there. Let's go do that. All right. Now then, I like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change the opacity of this. There we go. Lighten that up because that's just the rough drawing. And now we're going to start cleaning this up in a different layer. Can you guys still see the light version behind everything that I'm doing? Now that I'm
can.
working dark, you can still see it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
This stuff. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that mouth up a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Even more.
That's a very vicious looking platypus.
How about if you start putting together the shipping name of this character or creature? It's not a platypus, it's not a pterodactyl, and it's not a papillon. All I can think of is Steve McQueen whenever you talk about your dogs in that old movie.
They can be very
I like
regal,
the
spoiled creatures.
That's a long.
So, what do you find the hardest about combining animals? Is it like getting the joints to match?
Exactly. Where would, because the pterodactyl's wings are its arms, and a dog's front legs and particularly a platypus's front legs are much shorter. How do I make the physiology of those wings look like they came from a platypus or a canine and not look silly? I'm going to have the same problem with the ears. I've got to make them look aerodynamic. I've got to make it look like it makes sense physiologically and anatomically. It's got to make sense. Otherwise, it just looks like Play-Doh. Like I build a platypus head and just stuck these things on. It's got to make sense. Again, back to your stick figures, Andy. I've got to put the skeleton, and in this case, these are, how do I say it? Remember King Kong, the original King Kong,
In black and white
And
and
they-
everything.
black and white and everything.
Hmm.
Ray Harryhausen built King. I think it was Ray Harryhausen, or did he come after? Well, after. No, he did Mighty Joe Young. The main thing is that the stop motion puppet was created. The underside was a what they call an armature stick figure, and then they built it all on top. So your attitude on stick figures is not far off from artistic beginnings of creating creatures.
I believe the correct response is, "Oh, you hush your dirty mouth. We're not labeling me with art. No, no, no. I'm overworked as it is. We're not. Nope, nope, nope."
That's a line I like. So, right now, I'm treating this very much as a pencil sketch or pencil drawing. I have at my disposal specific brushes for fur and for different textures that will help me digitally. Now, I know in shading this right now, in my head, I know where the light source is coming from. That would be up here. So that means to shade and give this bill depth, that's where the highlight is. And I'm not going to put any more shading on this.
That's a valid question from the room. How about putting a fedora on it if not shading?
A fedora on it, if not shading?
Well, you said, and that's all the shading you're going to put on it. or you'll put no more shade.
Yeah.
And so the question is how about putting a fedora on it? So I'm assuming
Well, a
it's instead
fedora-
of the shady.
Well,
I thought it
that
was
would
funny.
be good if I wanted to name him Perry, as in Perry the platypus. But he's not Perry. But I get the I get the reference.
I thought it was good.
It is good. What is the species name of this the scientific naming of this creature?
Well, I don't know about scientific, but you've had Pterodon, Platyleodactyl maybe, and
That's
Poppled
interesting.
Poppet.
Popple Poppet? Okay.
Three
All
P's.
viable.
So I don't know. You'll have to pick which one you like. I'm going to stick with that's
If you
the
do the
scariest. Sorry, I was going to say scariest platypus mouth I think I've ever.
if you do the silent P like with pterodactyl, Pterodon sounds like a good fantasy creature name.
How big is this guy? What do you think? Platypi are small, so are Pepion. But a pterodactyl is big,
Well,
so
pterodactyls could be the size of basically a chicken to a giraffe.
could be. Could be.
They have a very wide size range through the millennia.
Yeah, I think like platypus, chicken range, probably good size. When like two things are small, one thing's big, lean up more on the small side. You could have like a swarm of them.
Are they amphibious, like the platypus?
Yes, amphibious and a flight creature.
Mm-hmm.
Terror in all environments.
With the fur that I'm putting in and having lines in that are wide apart, as opposed to on the bill where I'm filling it in, I'm only using my pencil, but I am getting multiple textures. And the reason the ability to do that is coming from not necessarily what I draw in, but what I leave out. Okay, I'm gonna end the fur line there. And then the pterodactyl, because it's got reptilian, And the dark here. This is good. This. Strands of hair coming off the ears. I'm not sure if these are actual Papillon ears. I'm trying to make them canine. Don't know enough about Papillon species to say that's definitely a Papillon ear, but I'm going with the big ear and the long tendrils of hair that come off of it. And then give it depth. Dark rim, as this one's dark. This. Later on, when I get to the white layer, I will give some of that, the white highlighting hair that it needs. But I'm in a good place right now, I think. Andy, you're a breeder of Papillon. How far off am I?
You're not terribly far off. The base of the ear would probably be a little bit wider, but that's not bad. And as far as the fringe goes, it can be short like that, which is usually what you'd find on a puppy, but a fully grown one has actually very long fringe on their ears.
Okay, thank you. I like that. Thank you. That's what it needed. Well done. Thank you. Okay.
Welcome back, Philip. And Sarah, who I'm hoping is nearby.
Okay, how am I doing for time? Oh gosh, I still got an hour.
Yeah, you've got lots of time. We're not distracting you, so it's going well. Philip, just to catch you up really quickly, Don's doing this interesting practice. I don't know how to, but he's taking 3 different animals picked by the audience, which were Papillon, Platypus, and Pterodactyl, and creating a new creature. So we're even throwing names up for him to pick a name out of later.
Pataplator?
A name
That's interesting.
that you can pick a name. I'm tired, Don.
I like Pataplator. That's pretty good.
That Don can pick from later. There you go.
hmm The platypus, much like the otter, have these bulbous fingers on their paws. They do have claw. Platypi claws are very poisonous. That works like that. That does work. I like that. Knuckle and here's where I'm gonna this and work that bulb. And then this is gonna give me a knuckle. Under paw. All right. I need to take everything. Nope, I can't move everything yet. Mhm, mhm. Okay. Mm. I'm gonna go to favorite of mine. Fur brush. And the break in the fur is telling me where the shoulder is. That's defining that shoulder line so that it shows the physiology of this creature. See where the shoulder is now? Now I can do this.
Maybe this is an odd question.
Go ahead.
I remember a lot of artists, maybe it was just old days, using blue pencil to start. Is it
Mhm.
because with doing it digitally, there's no point in doing it in a blue pencil? Or you just prefer it? Does the blue pencil matter anymore?
The blue pencil does still matter. I know artists who work digitally who will either work in a blue or a red color as their rough lines. My layer, let's see here, see if I can do this. Again, that layer. Normally, if I were working in ink, that all would have been done in blue because it disappears underneath the black. Now, digitally, you're right. Does it have to be red? Does it have to be blue? No, because it's going to disappear or they could be taken out completely. Now, the real question is, where did the blue and the red come from?
I know the
And that's
blue had to
traditional.
deal with. Oh, see, I was told the blue had to deal with when you photocopied it. When it didn't show up.
Exactly.
The photocopiers weren't that good.
The blue pencil was called non-photographic blue. They had what was called a stat camera, which shot the black and white film, or not, or it would shoot the picture, and because it was so bright, the blue wouldn't hold up against the contrast of that light. So all the photographic material could pick up was the black. And it was, again, even though Xerox copiers got better, most of the blue line disappeared. Now, digitally, is it necessary? No, it's not really necessary anymore because you're right. We're not using stat cameras anymore. But I do know artists who still like to work in the blue. I think it's for them a way of making sure that's my rough layer. Don't count on that line because it's going to go away. So they mark it in blue so that they don't forget. What layer they're working on. I'm going to give this guy bigger belly. Okay, now let's work up. All right, let's go down and do this. And okay. Finger keeps hitting the button.
I mean, your fur's really great.
Thank you.
I like his belly. It looks pettable. If you
Keep
can
your
get past that
hands
beak.
and feet away from that beak, though.
Yeah, you gotta keep away from the beak, and then you're good to go.
All right. Now then we go to a different layer so I don't mess anything up. And I'm going to go with this. And then we're going to make it big. And get rid of that. Need it anymore. Now, go to it. And light in here. Here. All right. Let's go to here. Barbie on that there. Bring it back. Lay it back. And red wind. Okay, tendrils coming off that ear. Come on, dig. I have to take that layer, and I have to extend this that way, and then take that and scale it. There we go. And then I can go back to this layer. There we go. Okay. And we're going to change that to that. Okay. All right. Nope, nope, nope. Okay.
It's amazing how three-dimensional it looks.
Thank you. All right. And then we're gonna go here. Need to give this the old spark of life. And that is the white highlight in the eye. And that's exactly what brings that to life. Now, what I am going to do look on this wing. And back up to the inking. Ink, 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 ink. Start brush. Put these veins on that wing. These little details are so tiny, but they add so much. put them in black, you have to put them in white. Let's go back to this layer. That. Nope. Anybody got any questions out there? Or has everybody
Last time
gone
I
to
checked,
sleep?
there hadn't been any. Nope, still none. I think everyone's just watching.
Okay.
It can sometimes be really fascinating
I'm
and
just
soothing, I
amazed at
think,
how
to
easy he
watch
makes
it.
it happen.
How long have you been drawing for?
Well, I started drawing when I was 8 years old, and I am now 60. So, quite a while, I would venture to say. When I was very, very young, my parents used to go fishing all the time. Dayton, Ohio, a place called Lake Loramie. And being 8 years old and the youngest of 5 children, sitting with my little bamboo pole stuck into the water on Lakeside, I got bored silly. So my parents, to help me pass the time, bought me a Disney magazine. And one day I copied a picture of Grumpy. And my mom looked at it and said, "Hey, that's a pretty good tracing." And I said, "I didn't trace it." She went, "Sure you didn't. Draw it twice as big as you did if you didn't trace it," trying to catch me in a lie. And I came back. Well, I was 8 years old, but it took me a couple hours, but I came back twice as big. She never left me alone from that point on. It was always on my butt to draw. Didn't matter about anything else. This is going to work. Clouds back here.
But it seems like you still enjoy it.
I do. For the longest time, all I drew was animals and whatnot. And in 1977, a little film came out, might have heard of it, Star Wars. And everything became alien and monsters from that point on. And my father was unhappy. He thought because he was a wood carver, he was going to get animals all the time. And told me once, "Don, you're never going to make a living drawing monsters." Well, I wish my father was still alive, because I'm working drawing monsters, paying my bills, drawing monsters. Wish he were around to see it. Very proud of that point. I need to get rid of that thing there. Is it there? Is it this layer? No, I know it. There, nope. There, yes, got it on. All right. Now I'm going to go to this layer.
So, do you have a favorite type of animal to draw? Or monster? Or alien?
Favorite type? Ooh,
Yeah, like you like little gray aliens, or you like kaiju monsters, or
I'd like to say kaiju monsters, but I've never drawn a kaiju monster. Really? I've drawn
never?
big things. Even the stuff I did, where Ross basically said, "I want big things, big things. We need big things in FASA." I drew dinosaurs, but would I call it a kaiju? I don't think I would.
Did you know they
I've
found a new
drawn things that are
Spinosaurid?
big. I'm sorry?
They found a new Spinosauridae.
Say
New Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus a day? Oh, are you
A new
challenging me
one.
to do a Spinosaurus?
No. They found a
God.
new one. It has a 20-inch
Oh, yes.
horn.
Yes, I did hear about that. That's amazing.
So
Just when
okay,
you think you've got everything figured out, nope, something new comes out.
well, actually, there's a lot of interesting stuff with where it was found. But so since you haven't drawn any kaiju, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I like bears. I like wolves. I like bears and wolves. There are an awful lot of otters in my portfolio, but that was mainly because my ex liked otters. And I've got more otters than I know what to do with.
I mean, bears and wolves are cool. I'm not very into otters, though. I know a lot of people like them. There's nothing wrong with liking them. Just never been into otters.
Cats are very popular. Obviously, I think Andy, you're a dog person.
I prefer dogs over cats, but I don't dislike cats. Please notice I am
You like animals.
have 5 rescue kittens in the house. So I'm sure you heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
You may remember I have your tiger in color.
You do. That's right.
Yep.
yeah, now Debbie's
I love
definitely a cat person. And that's not a bad thing.
Well, I am coming down to the tail end of this, to the point where I think I'm going to put my signature on this. Oh, Lord, what is the name of this thing?
You didn't pick.
I didn't pick. What are my choices again?
Let me go look. Let's see. There was Pterodon, Platyleodactyl, and Poppled Poppet.
I think I've actually heard pterodon before. Is it terror or terra?
They put the P in front of it and then Terrordon.
Okay. Tells me I've heard it before. And I don't want to name it after where it's got Don in it because it sounds very egotistical. I ain't going there.
I mean, if you want to refer to that as Junior, you go right ahead.
You could change
No,
the
thanks.
Don to dog since there's a Papillon.
What do you think? Terraplat.
There you go. I like it.
I think it works.
Yeah, that's nice.
What is this creature of nightmare that you have made, and which game is it for?
This was an exercise in how I do creature studies. It was an exercise utilizing the 3 suggestions of 3 animals and then creating a new creature from those animals. This is a combination of Papillon canine, dog, obviously, a platypus, and a pterodactyl. Christened the Terraplat.
So this is going to either be an awakened creature in Australia or what province is Australia in Earth Dawn?
Can't answer that one. I wouldn't know. Andy, you got a guess on that one?
I might if my brain was working, but it's not.
It's
I
too
don't
late.
think that they've ever
It's not
done
a-
like a Earth Dawn Australia book, although it's one of the ones I would have liked. I mean,
Yeah,
everything's
it's not a
horrible there
considering-
now.
province. It's a land far, far
Yeah,
away.
everything is horrible there now. Shadowrun hasn't done an Australia book. 1879 hasn't done an Australia book.
Yet.
I'm not sure I want to see what the Awakening does to everything in Australia.
But think about it. In Earth
Everything
Dawn,
in Australia
it would be so
already
much
wants to kill you.
worse. It'd have to be so much worse. Which would make it an epic book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have a whole bunch of, 12 circle jackasses. Send them there.
But everything in Australia already wants to kill you.
That's the point.
Now let's just overlay magic on top of that and horrors.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If
So
you
that's how
survive
it's
that,
done.
you can take over countries. All right, Don, it is a great picture. You want to say goodnight?
I can say goodnight. To give you a heads up, I will be combining all this, bringing it down to postable size and forwarding it to you before I go to bed tonight, and you can post it tomorrow however you choose to
Okay.
FreedoniaCon. I'm not going to make you wait up while I put it together. You can, you'll find it tomorrow on Discord.
All right. Well, good night, Don.
Good night, all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching me do my thing.